We definitely have our own way, no question about it.
The drive at SVA to kind of be out of the norm, I think it's partly its history.
One of the reasons I've been here so long is really the nature of my friendship with Silas and my feeling that he and the school had embarked on a very worthwhile objective.
Culture then was kind of like the Wild West. At the time, SVA wasn't degree granting.
There was a kind of amateurish atmosphere that the school shared in.
We were sort of making it up as we went along.
And it was always sort of a renegade type of place.
It was an exciting time, and there was a real sense of possibility.
We were doing things differently.
We all had the sense we were pioneers and we were embarking on a journey where we were not quite sure of the destination.
I started working here because my dear friend Richard Wild took me out to lunch one day, and he told me the biggest lie ever. And the lie was that you should come and teach, one class. It would only be 3 hours a week, 1 day a week, and you'll probably be in the city anyway, as if I'd be just walking by the building at that chosen time. That 3 hours immediately became a whole day, and the whole day became 3 days, and then it became 5, and the weekends. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it was the best thing that happened in my life.
Silas knew, and certainly Tony and David have continued, that the only way for this school to succeed was to hire at the very top level.
When I hear about the people who've been there 20, 30 years, I'm blown away, and I think that's, speaks well of the college and what they've cultivated over the years.
I greatly appreciate people that have been here for a really long time and have put blood, sweat, and tears into this school.
It didn't come easily, and it didn't come right away. It took a long time to get where we are. And 65 years, when you're talking about the course of history, is not a very, very long time. But it was a long time to get to this point.
I think the question isn't so much what was changed, but what was here initially and how that's been expanded upon.
SVA has geographically expanded over the last few years.
This last decade, let's say, we've just more than doubled the number of graduate programs.
The new housing facilities that we have, all the new studios, the new programs that we've built in. I know the staff numbers themselves have risen. The bottom denominator of why we're here is remained the same. If it hadn't, I wouldn't still be here.
This really kind of funky personality that SVA has always had is something that I think has really become an amazing daredevil of art education.
SVA is the least academic institution I've ever had anything to do with. I mean, it doesn't follow any of the rules of what academic rules are. Something happened where the individual groups of teachers managed to create an atmosphere of excellence so that an elaborate bureaucracy never occurred here.
It's rare in any other college for a chair to actually meet with the president. It's usually the chair to the dean to the provost to the president, and then policy is actually made or things are realized. This, with direct contact, that's absolutely unique.
It's sort of unencumbered by a lot of bureaucracy and unencumbered by closed doors. That it's very, very easy to see those people who kind of, run the place.
Things are actually possible here. It's possible for growth. It's possible to alter your department. It's possible to make changes on the fly.
That is one of the things that perhaps in a larger organization where it's a little bit more corporatized than we are, you wouldn't be able to do that.
It's really allowed us to do things where other schools, I think, would have a bureaucracy in the way of it. And so we can move a lot more rapidly.
Unlike other institutions, things can happen very fast here.
Somebody said, I'd like to do a course in bird watching and the history of painting. That if they went over to David or Tony and say, I have this idea, that the likelihood of that materializing feels much more possible here than any place else.
You're allowed to bring your ideas forward, and it's encouraged to do so. And I think that's one of the great things about here, your opportunity to make those changes and sort of to roll up your sleeves and to say, listen, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the results by doing it my way. I think is quite extraordinary.
They get to do something that doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, which is they get to tinker with their own program. And they can tinker a little bit every year. That kind of freedom is really rare.
The school, our bosses, they know that we know what we're doing, and they give us that kind of confidence.
It's like a startup in an incubator, right? Like SVA is the incubator for these programs, and so it's providing, the capital to really make it happen and the support structures. But at the end of the day, it's really you who has to make it happen.
There's, again, that nice balance of we're providing structure, but we're also providing freedom.
You're allowed to present an idea, and even though you haven't had it fully fleshed out, sometimes you'd probably be either said, well, go and flesh that out a little bit more, or, hey, go run with it, see what you can do with that. And I think that that's the spirit that this place has that's unlike any other.
There's a really nice amount of risk-taking that's allowed. It's honestly trying to be as flexible as possible. Every time, in some ways you need to have structure, and in some ways you need to let everything flow.
I mean, that's really that's the root of the college, was its nimbleness from sort of its founding. It's based on what's going on today and what's going to go on 5-10 years from now. What is really what's in the future.
If you hire good people, they'll do good work.
When you do work hard, you get noticed. People do respond to hard work.
All the staff that I can think of are really willing to go an extra mile and do whatever's asked of them for the end goal.
We all get involved. I mean, from the executive director right down to, the custodian.
You're going to be asked to do things that you were not necessarily trained to do. If there's something we don't know how to do, we will figure it out or learn it, or we will find someone who can explain it to us, and then we will go out and do it.
There is that, I guess it's a drive. There's a drive within everyone.
And I just think that, we have an attitude. There's like an attitude that we know what we are. We're the greatest school, greatest art school on the planet, and our students walk around believing that, knowing that.
One of the things that makes SVA special to me is the feeling of being part of a family, really.
I've met some of my best friends here. It's become not only my workplace, but it's also become a social place for me as well.
I think the most satisfaction comes with my interaction with everybody throughout the campus.
SVA is unique because of the people, really. There's no doubt about that. Otherwise, if you take the people away, you have a collection of buildings.
I really do appreciate that you can be yourself here.
They give us that free range to be ourselves.
If you're going to spend 3/4 of my week working, I want to be in an environment and around people that is actually enjoyable to me.
When people are comfortable, it's easier for them to work, to contribute, to spend more time together.
You don't have to put on airs and be in a suit. It's really about being who you are.
I think it's pretty unique. I think there's a certain comfort level. I think the comfort level is important to kind of have fun, kid around, and at the same time do your job and be very serious.
People here want to do a good job, and they like this place. They like what it stands for. I mean, when you walk around and you see, what goes on here, it makes you really believe in something.
It's really, you come here and you feel the electricity, you feel the creativity. You see it in the mailroom, you see it, in the yearbook office, you see it wherever you go. You see that positive energy, that we're all looking for the same goal, which is to make the school proud.
This passion, I think that actually creates a condition where one is loyal. The students, the teachers, the staff, the faculty, one wishes to be part of that energy.
There's an energy. There's a tremendous creative energy that takes place and you could feel it.
That's unheard of. And that's why nobody leaves. And that's why everybody wants to teach you.
You know, you're seeing all the wonderful things going on, and it's impossible not to get pulled in.
It sucks you in.
I mean, I've been here 28 years, and I still feel like the young guy compared to some of the people that I'm friendly with on the staff. So what does that say? That's an amazing thing.
The school still feels to me like it's just beginning. It doesn't feel like an old institution, you know. It doesn't feel like it's been around for half a century. There's still a quality of the Upstart.
What was here initially and how that's been expanded upon, for me, that's the change. It's a flower that's blossomed.
The culture at SVA, I think, in some ways is basically, we're going, you know, we're moving along here.
There's change, if you like, at the edges, but the core is really unchanged.
We're all here for a very specific reason. We're all here for the students.
There's nothing like seeing our name on that marquee at the Radio City Music Hall in May. I still get shivers about that, because that to me is what success is about in many, many ways, is the fact that you know, our students are graduating, and to think that, you know, you had whatever tiny little bit to do with that person's success is a real gift.
I've been associated with the school for an exceedingly long time, and it has been one of the most important parts of my life, and a very fulfilling one.
People often say, I feel lucky, you know, that I got this job, and I know what they're talking about.
I mean, you know what? Every day, I can't wait to get up and go to work.
You are valued as an employee, and your opinion is heard, and you are rewarded, and you know that is it's pretty special.
It is very rewarding to do this work.
You can feel good about yourself. At the end of the day, you can look back, and if you ask yourself, what have I done today? You can say, well, I've helped students. I've helped in the education process of students. And there's absolutely no downside to that.
Becoming an artist shouldn't be taken lightly. It's something that has to be, you know, it's as important. It's always been as important as going to medical school or going to law school. Certainly more important than going to law school. So we're trying to always up the level of seriousness, how the world looks at people who want to go into art schools and want to become artists.
Art is an essential part of human culture, and it's something to do with the improvement of civilization, and that we are part of a long and continuous relationship to culture.